In the next 48 hours, I'm gonna show you firsthand how to build an AI app from scratch using only no-code and AI tools, but also to land your first paying customers. But we only got 48 hours, so what are we waiting for? Let's jump in. So I actually came up with this idea because I was on a group coaching call with some of my students, and one of my students was expressing how daunting it was to go ahead and post their first post on LinkedIn. You see, they didn't have much prior experience, and they were definitely lacking in confidence when it came to actually getting something out there. So I thought to myself, what could I build to make this person's life 100 times easier? And that's when it hit me. What if I created an app that someone could just tell its content idea and it would convert it into a high-performing LinkedIn post? And the way I'm gonna do this is by training this AI on high-performing posts. But before I jump in too deep, I wanna make sure I'm building something people will actually pay for. So it's time for step one, validation. Now there are several ways to validate your startup idea, but not all of them are well suited for a 48-hour challenge. So what I usually do is line up at least 10 to 15 interviews with the kind of customers I think would be willing to pay for it, and I start having conversations, customer discovery interviews. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna be using another validation format, which is research. More specifically, I'm gonna be looking for problems around creating content for LinkedIn. Scotty, beam me to the computer station. Whoa, that actually works? Scotty, beam me some popcorn? Well, I guess a man can dream. The first place we're gonna go for research is gonna be Perplexity. It's an AI tool I love for research. So let's find out the problems we can find that people are having online with creating content on LinkedIn. Let's go. Find me forums, blogs, articles, tweets, and more about the main issues people face with producing and releasing content on LinkedIn. Let's go with that and see what we find. Okay, so this is one of them, consistency and burnout. Let's go ahead and check out this article here. Pressure to continuously produce fresh content can be overwhelming. Totally feel this. And personally, the best times for me to come up with ideas is like when I'm not working. And by the time I'm ready, the idea or inspiration is kind of gone. Producing high quality content. I think that's completely true. Another thing is budget constraints. I think this is true. A lot of people don't do it because they think it's just too expensive to create quality content, and it can be. Okay, now find me some Reddit threads. Let's see this. And check out this article about why is LinkedIn so cringe? And people recognize that it probably has a net benefit on your career. So people obviously don't like LinkedIn that much, but they understand the importance of actually posting on LinkedIn. And when I type it into Google, it just says understanding and consistently catering to your target audience. So it seems like also knowing what kind of content you need to be creating for your users. So my takeaway actually doesn't point towards specific problems, but it seems like consistency is important, quality is important, and making it easier for people to create. All three of which I think I can solve with this tool. So that took roughly 20 minutes. The one thing is that I don't actually need to validate that people want to be posting or creating content on LinkedIn, but I do think people are willing to pay to have this process be easier, quicker, and for their posts to perform pretty well. So now we're ready to build, but the next step is to come up with branding and content for this startup idea. Because the core of this tool is gonna be building an app that actually generates a lot of this for me, I'm simply gonna come up with some inspiration of what I want this to look like and a color palette. So I'm gonna go find some web design inspiration and get back to you with some examples of what I'm gonna try to go for. Okay, so it's not gonna look this pretty, but I like the black with these gradients like this. I like this color, this green. I think that is really nice. I also like the green to blue. So this is pretty much what we're going for. So do not expect my app to look as good as this, but it's gonna work and it's gonna be pretty good. But I'm gonna get some inspiration from this dark mode with gradients and my selection of colors too. So now that I'm ready to build, let's jump in. The first step here in the building process is going to be to build the landing page. This part is really about nailing your offer, and it's gonna be the homepage people land on to choose whether or not they're gonna buy. And before I jump into this crazy AI coding tool, let me break down how I'm gonna structure this offer. And to do this, I'm gonna be using an AI coding tool that is called Bolt. Scotty, beam me to the boardroom. Now, this is not a full idea until we've determined the customers we're targeting, the problem they're facing, and the business model that we're gonna use to charge. So let's talk about it. For the customers, we're gonna be going after people who should be posting but don't currently post. Probably a small team or an individual, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and small, medium business. The problem that they face here is that it is time consuming to create great content. If you want to hire a team to do it, it can be very expensive. So ultimately they are not posting and they're leaving money on the table. And finally, for the business model, we're going to be giving people access to test it out for free and then charge a monthly subscription for people to use the platform. So it's pretty much a freemium subscription plan. And finally, I came up with the name Voice to Post, but that will be really determined by the domains I'm able to find. So let's jump into the next step now. Okay, so here's how I would structure the website or the offer or the landing page, whatever you want to call it. First up, we have the hero section. This is the promise, ultimately. It's going to be the most important thing. 100% of people who land on this page are going to read this. Here you are selling the destination, not the way to get there. So if you're selling me on Bali, don't tell me about the plane tickets to get there. Next up are the benefits, not the features, but the benefits. These are the outcomes that we get by buying into this promise. So in our case, it would be save lots of time, make it easy to create quality content, save money that you would usually spend on an agency, etc. This section is is a feature section. It's the section where we want to talk about the features in the actual product that will deliver on the benefits that we promised right above. Kill the tech jargon, make it super easy to understand, and simplify it as much as possible. After that, I usually have a how it works section. For example, 1, record your voice. 2, edit the optimized post. 3, post to LinkedIn. Next, and most importantly, is the CTA, the call to action. So you could have a buy button if you're selling a physical product. You could have a book a call. You could have demo. You could have download the app. Really, it depends on your product. And the goal of this is to capture people's emails. And finally, your FAQ, frequently asked questions. I love tackling the main objections people have in buying in the FAQ. And just like that, we're good to go. Let's start building. This, my friends, is Bolt. It's the platform I'm going to be using to build out the entire app, except for some of the more complex things I'm going to be doing in the backend, specifically tapping into AI. For that, I'm going to be using a different platform. The name of this platform is Make.com. It's an automations platform that is incredibly powerful. They've also accepted to sponsor this video, so thank you so much, Make, for that, because it's going to make the difficult parts of this project so much easier, and we'll be jumping into this tool in just a moment. But first, let's build this landing page with Bolt. So that took me about 2 hours to build out, but the result is amazing. Let me show you what I built. Here it is with the light animation coming in. Voice post, my friends. And by the way, I got voicepost.ai, so you'll be able to check that out in the description below. But look at the beauty of this website. I scroll down, I have the section about the benefits. Then I have these testimonial cards here. We have another CTA, and then a how it works, and then a CT at the end, and the frequently asked questions. Now the next step here is going to be to create a create section where people can record their voice, and then it's going to be transformed into an optimized post. And to create that, we're going to need to build it with an automation leveraging the power of Make. And for that, I'm bringing my buddy Cole to come and help me, because I've just realized that I also need to go out there and get paying customers. So on top of building the other parts of this app, I also need to be thinking about outreach, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit, but I'll keep that explanation for later. Now Cole has to go out there and grind. Okay, so Cole is now finished with the first animation. I have been able to advance a little bit on actually being able to create the recording section. Now we're gonna have to meet in the middle and make sure that I'm able to integrate that inside of my workflow. That gets a little scary because it's really the moment of truth. Okay guys, this is exciting. I created a clunky version of this recorder, but it actually works. Let's go ahead and test it out. What's up, my friends? Check it out. I have an awesome recorder. It's now gonna optimize the post. Now it creates the post, and if I save the post here at the bottom, it's going to add it to my library. Now this is all very clunky for the moment, and it doesn't work the way I want it to. So now I'm gonna start polishing up this whole section, and yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. So now it's time to perfect our scenario in Make, and also to make sure that the output is coming in properly here, and to polish off the creation and the storage of these posts so we can finally move to the next section. Okay, so we've just finished the Make scenario that's going to allow us to transform the recording into a highly optimized LinkedIn post. So let me break down the scenario so you can understand what each part of the scenario does. So I'm inside Make here. I've created an account, as you can imagine. You can click below if you want to check out Make.com. I created, first of all, here a webhook. So what this does is that it's going to be the trigger, right? So as soon as someone has finished a recording and the transcript is being sent, it's gonna be sent here. Now every webhook has a link, and we put that link inside of our project, and it's gonna connect to this scenario. Now once that voice note or audio or transcript, whatever you wanna call it, has been sent here, it automatically goes and creates a rough draft of the post with ChatGPT. So inside the second module of this Make scenario, we basically connect to OpenAI, and we choose the specific model we want to use. So in this case, GPT-4. Then we send it a very specific prompt, and here you can see that we put the transcript in there as well. And we made sure to test this prompt manually over and over until we received a very good response for this first draft. So think of OpenAI as our copywriter. But behind every great writer and book you've ever read, there is an amazing editor. And that's why we're actually tapping into Anthropic and Claude specifically, because that's gonna be our editor. So once we've created the rough draft with ChatGPT, we want that to be sent to Anthropic over here. So our third module is Claude. We click on this, and we also have something quite similar. We select the model. So here I could choose Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And then inside of this module, we have, as you can see if we scroll down, another prompt. So you want to give it a role, you want to give it a goal, and you want to give it a very specific set of instructions. And this, my friends, is what's going to optimize this LinkedIn post for us. And yes, you guessed it, the prompts we're using are actually trained on some of the best ghostwriters and their high-performing LinkedIn posts. And the final step you see here is the webhook response. And so this is going to send the optimized post back into our app once this whole automation has run. And this is why Make is so powerful, because it allows you to create these simple or very complex scenarios and then plug them into apps apps so that you can basically extend the functionalities of your app. But I'm just gonna follow the instructions of the AI and I'll keep you posted. Okay guys, I have a little bit of bad news. I have been losing my mind with integrating this webhook in the project. I keep getting errors. The AI, I keep asking it to fix these errors and it is not. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this challenge work. Make is actually working perfectly, but it seems like I'm having issues with bolts. I'm supposed to just literally plug that URL and it just works, but it seems like we're not getting a response. It's been about 2 hours playing around. I'm gonna quickly hop on a call with Cole and we're gonna try to troubleshoot this live and hopefully we can come to some kind of a conclusion here so I can show you an actual product that works. Guys, I am so excited. We figured it out. It was a silly little formatting issue with JSON in the response that we were sending back to the app. It was basically in the wrong format and it wasn't able to understand what we were sending back. But yes, we now figured it out. Fine-tuned the user experience so you can both create the recordings, but then you can also save them and edit them. So let me show you the result right now because it looks freaking cool. There's still a lot to be done. We're not there yet. We haven't even deployed anything, but just the fact that it works is a huge win. Let's check it out. Okay, so we are here. I have fine-tuned this. Look how beautiful the website looks right now. If we click up here on Get Started, it's gonna bring us to this recording page. So this is the create page and this is the library page. Create is to create new LinkedIn posts and check this out, my friends. Hello, my name is Christian and I would like you to create a post about how AI is completely changing the way that people build startups. And I'm gonna be teaching people how to do it. Stop it, it's optimizing my post. So now it's just been sent to Make. Make is basically transforming it into optimized post and sending it back. Boom, and just like that, we got the return of the post. Then you can add an image and then I'm gonna save changes. Now what it's gonna do is that it's gonna save it as a post inside of my post library. Now here what I can do is I can choose to edit it if I want. Let's go ahead and edit it. I can then come in here and edit anything I want. If I do edit anything, for example, at the end of this post, there are a couple things here. Take those out. I'm gonna go ahead and save those changes. And we can just create a full collection here. And then I can come and delete any one that I want. And I can go ahead and go back to create and I can create my next post. Now I want to make a quick shout out to Make.com for sponsoring this video. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is my favorite platform to do automations. It allows me to kill so many of the repetitive tasks by having those things automated. And it also allows me to incorporate AI in all of the things that I build with no code or with AI coding tools. So I definitely recommend you check them out because they're a super powerful tool in my arsenal. Now back to the video. Now I'm already super excited about this early version. That being said, there's still a lot that has to be done because we have to do a number of different things. The first thing is that we have to actually deploy this on a server, and we also want to connect it to a database. We want to add authentication and we want to have payments, right? Because I'm not a coder at all, I've decided for these 3 difficult parts, I'm actually going to be using someone else's template. That's right, there are templates out there that you can use to import entire modules and functionalities inside of your code-based projects. My friends, I am defeated. I just spent the past 2 hours setting up these templates. And after setting them all up, I basically was not able to see the preview at all. So I think that I need to do a lot of troubleshooting. I also had an amazing dinner time with my daughter, and putting her to bed was like fighting a grizzly bear. So I'm completely done today. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this challenge work. I'm gonna do everything I can to push it as far as I can. I haven't even started any outreach for customers, so that's kind of worrisome. I think I may have broken my project, so it's gonna need a lot of fiddling tomorrow, and I'm exhausted. So I'm just gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow morning. As usual, when you have kids, bright and early. And yeah, I haven't lost hope, but have lost quite a bit of my enthusiasm, let's put it that way. Good morning, everyone. Got a couple hours of sleep last night. I feel much better, and I just dropped off my daughter at daycare, so I'm ready to roll. I'm gonna drink a little bit of coffee, and we're gonna get this day started. We have so much to cover, so let's talk about it. Okay, so to make this dream work, we're gonna have to do a couple things. First of all, we're gonna have to fix our project, right? If we don't have an app, we can't do much with it. Once we've done that, I wanna deploy it. It's pretty easy to do that, and I'll show you in just a second. But what I'm most worried about right now is actually getting customers, because I haven't done any outreach, and usually it takes well, days or weeks for people to even get back to you. So let's see what we can do. I'm definitely gonna show you the tools and how I use them to get first paying customers. And who knows, we might even just land one. So let me down this right now and I'll meet you guys in the studio. Okay, so the problem is that when I put in those templates, somehow I broke my project. And since I don't know how to code, I can't really just go in the code base and fix it. So what I'm gonna do now is try to ask Bolt to fix it. Now, one of the good things is that I do have a version that I saved of this project. So worst case scenario, we can always bring that into another tool and we can basically deploy it. So let's try to fix it. Okay, so I finally figured out the problem, and basically it was reading the wrong files. It was creating duplicate files. The organization of my project was a little bit messy, so I made sure that it fixed it. And now I'm gonna be able to deploy this. Now on the top right of each project here, you just have to click deploy, and it's basically going to deploy it to Netlify. And now let's check out what this looks like. It looks absolutely fantastic, and it actually is functional as well. So if I go ahead and click on CTA to get started right here, we're going to be able to actually record our voice. Hello, my name is Christian and I'm so stoked. I would like you to create a post about how I've just finished my first project inside of an AI coding platform called Bolt, and I am so impressed. Now it is optimizing the post. Boom, and here's what it popped out. I just wrapped up my first project using Bolt, an incredible AI coding platform, and I'm beyond excited to share my experience with you. I can also add an image that I'd like for the post to have. Let's go ahead and choose one. Perfect. Christian post. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And now, as you can see, we have our posts here. We can go ahead and edit posts if we want. We can choose to kill this picture and change it for a different one. And then we can save that again. So that's pretty much how this works. So now I'll just attach it to the domain and I'm gonna launch this. I'm so excited that I launched this, but now comes the difficult part, getting customers. So let me show you how we're gonna do that. So my first step to getting customers is to build a list of leads, people I think who would be interested in this software. And the reason for that is because direct outreach is actually one of the quickest ways to get paying customers. I could do SEO that'll show traffic in months. I could start creating content, but if I didn't already have a following, then I wouldn't be able to get sales through that way. And even ads would take a little longer to set up. And by the way, you're gonna love the strategy I'm about to show you. Now to create my list, my first stop is gonna be LinkedIn. Now that I'm here and without having to pay for LinkedIn Navigator or anything, I'm gonna figure out how to find these customers online. Now for this project, I'm gonna guess that people who attend a content creation for LinkedIn event or someone who signed up or registered for one, it might be a good target to go after because it tells me like, hey, these people wanna create content, so why don't we help them do that? So the first thing I'll do here is go to the top right and I'm just gonna put LinkedIn content creation. Now over here, I'm gonna select events. So there are 450 results. So this one specifically says it's a masterclass to learn how to create LinkedIn content. Great. But the more important thing is that I see that there are 637 other attendees. Now you might have to click on attending yourself to be able to click on this link. But once you do, you can actually open up a list of all these people, right? So if I scroll a bit further down, I can basically check out like, oh, this person's in Austin, might be a good person to reach out to. So let's open this in a new tab. I'm gonna basically open up all of these profiles in new tabs. And this is gonna be my lead list, my first lead list. Awesome, so now that I have these LinkedIn profiles who could be good targets, I'm gonna go ahead and start building this list. And for that, we're gonna use this second tool. So this next tool is gonna allow us to organize our list, find out all the information about these individuals, get their verified email, their phone numbers, and then to write highly personalized outreach messages that we can use either through LinkedIn or directly through email. Now the name of this tool is Outbond, like James Bond, but out. And in all transparency, this is a SaaS business that me and my partner built. However, let me show you what it does. It hasn't even launched, but I'll give you early access and free credits if you like it. And you can sign up in the description to get first access to it. Once you've logged in and created an account, you're gonna reach this page that allows you to create a new table. So we're gonna go ahead and call this one voice post. First thing we're gonna do is go ahead and add a column. It's gonna be a URL. So I'm gonna click on URL. And here, all we're gonna do is add rows where we add the LinkedIn profiles that we have here. Now, of course, if you already have a lead list, you can go ahead and just import the entire list here. So once we have the URL, we wanna actually bring in the full profile. So I'm gonna go ahead and click add enrichment. And I'm gonna go ahead and find LinkedIn profile. Now over here, it's gonna tell me, great, grab the LinkedIn profile URL. I have that under the column URL. I'm gonna click on that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and save and run all. This is basically going to import all of the data of these individuals from LinkedIn that I'm finding on their profile to this page. Awesome, and when I have these profiles, I can actually go ahead and click inside of each one of these profiles and get all the information. So I'm gonna go ahead and add, for example, the company LinkedIn profile URL as a column here. And once I have the URL link of where they work, I can go ahead and add another enrichment. And I'm actually going to go ahead and get the full company LinkedIn profile. And this only charges you a credit here when it actually finds a result. So I'll give you guys 500 credits if you sign up below for free, and you'll be able to enrich your first list so you can get those first paying customers. Next, I'm gonna find their company website. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on here, and you can add any of these, by the way, as a column as well. Now here's where this gets exciting. Let's say that I wanted to send each of these people an email, right? Directly. I can go ahead and make an enrichment that's going to find their work email. And that's really gonna be based on their full name, which I'll find under here, LinkedIn profile. So now I can just go ahead and save and run all. And it's gonna go and try to find the email addresses. We can already see them populating right here of these individuals. Now, what if we wanted to automatically create highly personalized messages? Well, in this case, we would come here to add enrichments. We could also choose to enrich and find their phone numbers, give these people direct calls. But in this case, I'm gonna use this enrichment, which is to create AI text generation. And here I can basically prompt it to write text for me. And I can even / to mention any individual piece of reference that I want, either in their personal profile or in their company profile. I could scrape their website. So let's go ahead and do that. My plan is to get them to test it out. And if they enjoy it, they're gonna wanna sign up for the paid plan. So now I'm gonna go ahead and / and I'm gonna go inside of the LinkedIn profile here. And here I'm gonna choose the summary. I'm gonna go ahead and save, and we're gonna apply to all. And now, for example, I can just grab this, copy it, I can add it to an email that I have, and then boom, I can go ahead and just dump this here. And then just like that, we have a personalized message just for them. Now, the first thing I've noticed is that my prompt is not that great. I'm probably gonna adapt the prompt a little bit just so it really comes out with the output I'm looking for. So just like that, I created a bunch of personalized messages for these individuals. I could also choose to add them on LinkedIn and message them, even create another text specifically for LinkedIn outreach, or maybe even call them for the people whose numbers I've gotten. So I just sent out about 70 emails. I also decided to send 30 LinkedIn direct requests to befriend those people, and I created a personalized message for those people. So anyone who accepts my friend request, I'll also be able to send them a message on LinkedIn. And now there's not much to do except wait for people to get back to me. Hopefully we're gonna have some positive replies, and frankly, had I had a bit more time or be a little bit more organized, I would have actually done the outreach way before. Fingers crossed, let's get a first customer. Okay guys, I just came back from a little coffee break. I just needed a little bit of caffeine in me, and I checked out the campaign, and it seems like I've already received 2 responses from customers. I got 3 people who answered stop, or just like stop contacting me. That usually doesn't feel very good, but honestly, it's part of the game as well, so I'm just kind of accepting it. And then I got a couple of autoresponders too, but from the 2 people who actually reached back to me, one asked a question which was kind of telling. They said, does this work for real estate? And I think that that's actually a good pointer that like there's some kind of interest behind there. So I sent them an email back. The second person just wrote, awesome, I'll check it out. So I don't know, that could be a user. That could also just be someone trying to get me off their back. But unfortunately, there's only 47 minutes left in this challenge. So let's just pray to the AI gods that we get a first customer. Let's go. Time is up, my friends. 48 hours are over, and I'll just say it as it is. I failed this challenge. I was not able to get a first paying customer for this app yet. The results are in. I got 4 people answering, and we got 12 auto replies, but I'm not giving up on this tool. In fact, I've decided I'm gonna start building out tools to make content creation and marketing easier for you. By the way, if you want to check out this tool, you can open up the description and you can find the link to it, as well as all the others. But let's talk about what we learned here and how you can avoid some of the mistakes that I made. So the first thing we learned is that it is possible to build an app, launch it. However, we also discovered we should be doing the marketing before even having anything. So at the beginning of the challenge, so we can start getting leads and start, as we have things to present to them with those things. Plus, in the outreach messages, you don't want to pitch your product at all. You really just want to get people answering and seeing if there's interest. Number 2 thing we learned is that these AI tools are amazing, but when you get stuck and if you don't know how to code, then you can find yourself in a bit of a pickle. So learning some of the foundation is going to help us a lot throughout this process. And the final piece is I should probably come with a plan of how much time I'm going to spend on each individual things and see if I could spend more times on the more complicated things early on. Now, I just showed you my full process, but if you want to see me actually succeed in getting a full paying customer and building it all out in 48 hours, check out this video over here, because in this video, I actually succeed in getting my first paying customer. Thank you so much, Make.com, for the sponsorship, and for all of you out there wanting to build apps, let's go.